Today I'm going to show you some clever carry-on packing hacks that most people haven't heard of. These can make your life way easier while traveling, and most of them involve cheap stuff that you probably have laying around your house anyways. First up is a trick that I'm pretty sure my wife Diane invented and then the internet copied. While walking around Chiang Mai, Thailand, we passed this little seamstress shop who charged Diane like $2 to cut a slit open in her travel pillow, empty out all the fluff, and then install a little zipper here on the top. Now she can literally pack like 10 light outfit combinations on the inside, zip it up, throw it around her neck, and save tons of space in her carry-on. And if sewing's not your thing, they also sell these packable travel pillows on Amazon. I also recently discovered another clever but somewhat ballsy trick to pack extra stuff on the outside of your carry-on, and I'll get to that in a sec. Next is the old duct tape trick. That's hard to say. And I can't tell you how many times this has saved me. Instead of packing a big bulky roll of duct tape, just stick a few rolls around a new stick of deodorant so it barely takes up any space at all. I've used my emergency duct tape deodorant to patch up my backpack when it got a rip in it, to fix busted flip-flops, to stop the bleeding when I sliced open my finger one time and didn't have a first aid kit. More tips on first aid kit in a second. And if you're creative, duct tape works for more than just fixing things. One time my brother came to visit me here in Colombia, but he only packed shorts. And we wanted to go out to a fancier discoteca because he found a hot date. So being the amazing brother that I am, I lent him some of my khaki hiking pants, which kind of looked a little bit dressy-ish, but good enough to get into the club. The problem was, I was chubby back then and my brother was skinny, so the pants kept falling down. I wasn't about to let my bro lose a hot date, and so I racked my brains for a solution until suddenly it hit me. I snatched my backpack, dumped it out, found my deodorant stick, unraveled the duct tape, and then rolled it up the long way so it wasn't sticky anymore, and it kind of made a makeshift rope, and then I tied it around him and tightened up the pants. Bam! Date night saved, all because of the duct tape hack, which I think deserves this video a like. Next up is the soap solution, which can be a pain to travel with, especially if you're traveling carry-on only and staying in places that might not have soap, like hostels or some Airbnbs. But if you bring bar soap, it'll be all wet and slimy and moist when you take a shower and then pack it into your bag. The obvious solution is one of those plastic soap holders, but those really aren't the best. First, because they're really bulky, but also because they don't let air in, so the soap doesn't really dry well inside. Another popular solution is this flat pack thingy, which I just bought and I'm going to test on our next trip. It was supposedly designed to allow air in so that the soap can dry and you can roll it up so it doesn't take up any extra space. But honestly, if you don't want to buy anything new to hold your soap, you can just grab an old microfiber towel from your house, cut it to the size of your soap, and wrap it up and shove it in your bathroom bag. The towel will absorb the wet sliminess from your soap and isolate it from the other things in your bag. And when you arrive in your next stop, you can just use the soapy towel when you shower. Next, if you want to pack more clothes but don't want to pay for extra luggage, this one's for you. Step 1, pack an empty packing cube that has a handle inside your carry-on or personal item. Step 2, clip a carabiner to your backpack. Step 3, wear tons of extra layers when you're in the airport. And step 4, once you finish at the check-in counter, you can remove all your layers, pack it into your empty packing cube, and then clip it to the outside of your bag with your carabiner. Easy peasy. A plastic bag would also work for this if you're in a pinch, but a packing cube is handy because they're more durable and it allows you to be a little bit more organized. I always attach a carabiner to all of my backpacks. My carry-on, my personal item, my packable day packs, everything gets a carabiner. Whether you use it to clip on a wet bathing suit after beach day, or clip on hiking boots after a long hike, or just clip it up high off the ground so it doesn't get dirty, I guarantee these little carabiners will come in handy. Okay, so I normally don't wear necklaces and chains, but if I did wear necklaces, I definitely would not just chuck them in my bag willy-nilly like a savage and let them get all tangled. Instead, I'd run them through a straw, fasten the clips, and continue living my happy, detangled life. Alright, so before we get into some other clever packing hacks using cheap items that you have laying around your house, I want to quick cover some cool tips for packing your clothes. If you're going on a super short trip or packing extremely light in a personal item only, sometimes packing cubes don't really make sense. In this case, you can keep things compact and organized by using the Ranger roll method. Here's how to do it with a t-shirt. First, you lie down your shirt, then you fold the bottom edge inside out, leaving it about 2 or 3 inches at the bottom. Then you fold in the sleeves on both sides, then you fold the shirt into thirds the long way. Then you roll it up tight, smoothing out any of the wrinkles along the way. And then at the end, you use that fold that you did at the bottom to fold it over and create this tight little pouch that never comes undone. Subscribe and let me know in the comments if you want me to make a video going over a full tutorial on how to use the Ranger roll for all different types of clothes, like pants and sweatshirts and socks and everything. The army roll trick is cool and all, but if you have more than a few pieces of clothing, then it can be time consuming and doesn't really give you much organization. In this case, you're better off using packing cubes, but only as long as you're using them correctly. Now, I'm not going to get into the rolling versus folding debate, which I already put to rest in my video on how to pack a carry-on according to science. But what I do want to mention is no matter which method you prefer, you either need to roll or fold using the correct size. If your roll or fold doesn't match the width of the packing cube, then you're wasting precious space. One way to avoid this is to fold or roll your clothes on top of your packing cube so you know exactly what the width is. Another thing to remember is that just because you throw your clothes in a packing cube doesn't magically mean it's going to take up less space. If your cube isn't compressing the clothes, then your clothes are just going to expand inside of the cube. So you either need to use a normal packing cube and make sure that it's 100% crammed full so that there's no space for it to expand, or you can use a compression packing cube to make your clothes take up as little space as possible. Let me show you the difference that it can make. These compression cubes are from a company called Tripped, who were kind enough to sponsor this video. So here's a medium-sized cube packed with 3 men's shirts and 3 shorts. Since it's not crammed to the brim, these clothes are expanding within the cube and wasting space. But if you close the compression zipper, it squeezes everything together. Here you can see the size difference between using a normal cube and a compression cube with the same amount of clothes inside. A small compression cube works to make your socks and underwear super compact, and in the large cube I fit my raincoat, a hoodie, some jeans, a pair of hiking pants, and some sweatpants. Thanks to all this extra compression, I was shocked that I was able to fit all of these clothes into my personal item size backpack with plenty of extra room to spare. There is one important thing to know about compression cubes though if you've never used them before. The point of compression cubes is that you can minimize the space you use no matter how many clothes you pack. If you're packing tons of clothes, you can just stuff it full like a normal packing cube without using the compression zip because since it's so full, it's already compressed. For example, here's what one medium cube looks like with literally every single t-shirt and shorts I own crammed inside, which is 19 items. Now, obviously, I don't need to travel with 13 shirts and 6 shorts, and that's where the compression cubes come in handy. When your cube isn't jammed full, but you still want max compression. Anyway, if you want to see how much space you can save with compression cubes, I'll link these ones in the description below, and they come in different colors. All right, moving on. So we already talked about the packable pillow, but if you still need extra space and you're feeling a little cheeky, there's another hack for you. I got this fisherman's vest cheap on Amazon and it has a buttload of pockets, 16 to be exact. If I loaded this to the max, it would essentially be like having a whole extra backpack's worth of space. But if you want a more stylish option that won't get you the evil eye, there's another company that specializes in pocket science. They sent me this hoodie with 21 pockets and this lightweight jacket with 22 pockets to test out, and these both are things that I feel I could wear every day, unlike a big, bulky, ugly fisherman's jacket. They even have jackets with a pocket big enough to fit a laptop on the inside, which I think is just hilarious. Alright, now for some more rapid-fire cheap packing hacks. It's always a good idea to have a stash of emergency cash while you're traveling, and a sneaky place to hide that cash is in an emptied out tube of chapstick. It's also not a bad idea to pack some sort of first aid kit. But if you're traveling light in a developed area, you don't need to go overboard. You can create your own mini first aid kit using a small tin, like an Altoids container or something, and just throw in some band-aids, pain relievers, antiseptic wipes, and other essentials inside. Next, I know all the cool kids these days use their wireless earbuds, but if you still travel with the old school cabled earbuds, which can come in handy sometimes, one way to keep it organized is just to wrap them around an old membership card or something and use a rubber band to keep it secure. This prevents them from getting tangled, and it can also work for normal charging cables. Next, if you're trying to travel light with creams or foundations or different types of makeup, you can just fill up a couple of those little contact lens cases and then throw them in your bag. No need to waste space on those big bottles. The ability to save space is a skill, and now that airlines think it's okay to keep charging more and more for luggage, this is a skill that can save you lots of money. I like saving money, so I decided to research the best way to pack a carry-on according to science. If you also like saving money, you can watch that one here next, and you might be surprised at some of my findings. Don't forget to grab my free long flight essentials cheat sheet down in the description. Like, subscribe, do the things. I love you. Bye-bye.